It is no big secret that I am a big fan of foldable smartphones, and a big reason for this is because it gives us just more flexibility than a regular phone. As much as I like devices like the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra, which I've been using for the last couple of days and really enjoying again, sometimes it's fun to go back and remember this was a really, really good phone. There are still moments where I wish the screen were wider. I wish that there was more real estate to do multitasking and different things with. There are also times that I think this thing is just so flippin' huge. I wish it was a bit easier to use one-handedly, and folding phones do solve a lot of that problem. They allow a phone to be both small and large whenever you need them to be. But there's another way to go about this besides just folding the screen, which I think has perhaps even more potential for transformative experiences like I am describing, and that is, of course, rolling or sliding phones. Now, I'm about to show you guys a patent which was dug up by a website called galaxyclub.nl. Now, most of this is translated, if I'm not mistaken, from German. No, it's from Dutch. Translated from Dutch. Some of this stuff may not be totally like well translated, well said, and sensical. So we're just going to look at the patent itself and talk through exactly what we mean here. Some of the ways that this rolling, sliding phone idea is actually extremely useful. You can see a couple of different devices going through different modes. Now, I don't believe this is meant to be taken as one device capable of doing all of these things because there's not enough room in this tiny little thing to do something like that. So I'm taking this to be one device here and another device here or something like that. So on the far left-hand side, it says processor. Since in crowded streets, firm grip is important while using phone which is available in band mode. So they're calling this band mode, and you can kind of think about this like the Galaxy Z Fold 4, 3, 2, 1. Whenever it is in its phone mode, it is very, very narrow and very, very tall, and it's very easy to one hand firmly in that regard. Now, I still think it's too tall. You can't really reach the top of the screen all that well, but it's definitely very easy to hold on to with one hand in a crowded area. You're not someone's going to bump in you and you drop your phone, which would be a much bigger issue with something like this, which is why a lot of us use grips and so forth on the backs of our devices because they're not all that easy to one hand. So band mode kind of to me looks like Galaxy Z Fold cover display mode, and I think it looks okay. Usable for a very specific niche, one-handed on the street type operation. But the beautiful thing here is that it would actually be able to slide and open up into a more typical phone mode. So where the Z Fold goes from tiny, narrow candy bar to, phablet, let's call it, this could potentially go from tiny, narrow, crowded space candy bar to a normal phone. But you can go another direction. You can start out as a normal phone and then slide out into a phablet, right? So we're starting off with something, let's say, approximating 16 by 9 or 2 by 1, and then we can slide outward into something closer to 4 by 3 or something like that, where multitasking is much easier, a much better prospect, even rotated around at that point if you're 4 by 3. Am I wrong? Is 4 by 3, is it made up of two 3 by 2 squares? Something like that. I may be totally wrong, but you could rotate it and have two really nice spaces for multitasking. Or perhaps you have a device that could slide out on both sides and go from phone to phablet to full-blown tablet mode, all without needing to fold. No crease really going to be necessary. There may be some weird things going on where it actually stretches out because something's going to have to be going inside something else. So there may be a slight drop off there. So there may be a little bit of weirdness in terms of how it feels, but I don't think it'll be quite as bad as the gutter in an actual hinge. It at least won't be worse than that. And from what I can tell from the prototypes, does not appear to be nearly as visible as a full bend in those devices tends to be either. Now, there are also prototypes that we've saw where instead of sliding outward, it slides upwards. You can have a device like this that is much shorter and easier to one hand, and then you can press a button on the side or literally pull on it and slide it up into a taller aspect ratio, maybe better for movies or whatever it is you might want to be doing at that point. So you can slide out or slide up. Who knows? Maybe this is meant to be taken as one physics-defined phone that could go from a band all the way to a full-fledged tablet, although personally, I don't know how that would possibly fit all of that stuff inside that one device. And then you would also have at that point, let's look at this again, a tablet which would have like a teeny tiny little battery, because the battery could only be like as big as that. So you have this like itty bitty battery powering this tablet that would go dead in like 35 minutes or something like that. But still, pick one, pick one starting point and slide it out or in from there. And I think you can kind of see what we're talking about. Now, the band concept, I think, is going to be very restrictive in terms of battery life. So that is a problem if your starting point is the band. But, that tech is going to get better and better. And who knows, maybe they'll be able to pack a big enough battery in there that when you go from band to phone mode, everything winds up being okay anyways. At any rate, it's really, really cool technology. This is simply a patent right now, but as I've mentioned and have shown you in this video, Samsung has shown in TCL as well as the Moto Riser concept, which is kind of a weird take on the stuff as well. Everybody's making prototypes of rolling phones. They are coming. This is going to happen sooner than later, and I think it's something that's worth getting excited about. Guys, subscribe for more content just like this, and until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.